I've never seen anyone give something their all and fail. This is Wright Brennan with the Lost in the Midlands podcast, and today I am fired up to be here with Mr. Jonathan Gamboa, Professionals on the Patio, Brewski Brothers Beard Co. He's got a lot going on. This guy is everywhere. Man, dude, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah. So grateful. But yeah, a lot going on. Trying to stay busy, trying to stay involved with the community, and I always make the joke. In my 20s, I'm only 33, but in my 20s, I was a wild child and was always, not getting into trouble, but not using my time the best, right?
Hey, look, if you were getting in trouble in your 20s, you're in good company.
Right. So now I've kind of shifted all that energy into the entrepreneurial spirit, and it's kind of gotten addicting a little bit. You know what I mean? And it's more rewarding than just going out and partying and hanging out.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, your events are on fire, man. Your social media is killing it. And I want to hear about what's going on. But before we jump into that, I do want to hear a little bit about your journey, kind of the come up. Like, so are you a Colombian native?
Actually, I was born in Colombia, South America.
Oh, wow.
Surprisingly, yeah. So Bogota, Colombia, I was born there. My mom is from Columbia, South Carolina. My father was from Colombia, South America.
Yeah.
So I was born there. I moved to Florida when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, my mother, the way she did it, I was just considered like a birth abroad. So I think technically I could still run for president if I want.
There you go.
So I'll keep that in mind. But no, so I moved to Florida when I was 6, and then I moved to a tiny little town called Pillion out in Lexington County.
Solid.
And I've been here ever since. So very
cool. Okay, you've made your rounds out in Pillion. It's that's out in the sticks, man.
It is, man. And I'm grateful for it, though. I'm grateful, for so much of it, honestly. I mean, even when we first moved to Pillion, me and my mother spent 2 weeks without water, without electricity, in a double wide trailer,
wow.
off Bushbury Road for 2 weeks, because we couldn't afford, it was just hard times, right?
Yeah.
And from that, and obviously living in South America, borderline third world kind of country, my mom used to use the egg yolks to make it look like there was cheese on them. You know what I mean? Like
wow.
we so I've experienced a lot of that struggle. But I'm so grateful for that because it kind of helps me be who I am. Same thing with being out in the country. You know what I mean? I learned so much, because I went from living in Pillion out in the country to living, right behind, Benedict College Stadium and stuff like that. So I've been in very, very polarizing kind of communities, and
Absolutely.
I've learned so much from being in both. And back to the Pillion thing, I have a lot of folks that, I went to school with, and I always joke, a lot of folks that stayed in that town, they're either on drugs or passed away, you know what I mean? And the few of us that left and most that come back are great, but you just got to leave for a little bit.
Well, you've overcome some adversity, it sounds like 100%. Yeah. All right. So let me ask you about, you got so much like different things. I saw you are a musician too, so I won't have to get into that a little bit, but Professionals on the Patio, this networking event that you guys are doing, what birthed that idea?
All right. So, I actually joined a BNI last year and started getting into the networking thing. And even that's been a journey, right? So I joined that through an ADT dealership, Carolina Smart Home. So I also do ADT sales. So if anybody needs security for their home or business, I'm that guy too.
Heck yeah.
And so I joined for that and really got into the networking. So I started going to other networking events, Not First Fridays, Coffee on the Rooftop, Coffee Talks at the Irmo Chamber, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I started seeing a lot of value in this stuff. And so I really started leaning into the networking. And I realized that I've always kind of been the guy that wants to connect people. Like, I'm like, I know that, like, oh, you need this? I know a guy that does this.
Yeah.
And kind of my thoughts has always been, I want to help my friends get good service, and I want to help my friends that have businesses get customers. I mean, it's a win-win.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's kind of been a thing, weighing on me. And then I have some experience. I had a craft beer blog for years called the Brewski Brothers, where the beard company kind of spawned from. And I have a ton of experience throwing events, fundraisers, and stuff like that. So, I was at Not First Fridays, and I was having a beer and talking to some friends. I'm like, I could throw something like this and make it like the dopest networking event that anybody's ever seen. Not that these aren't great, but all of them have their strengths and all of them have their positive sides. And I'm like, I want to do one that's in the evening, so that way people that are working can make it. Because even business owners 9 to 5, it's hard to break away for some coffee and networking, right?
Yeah.
So do it in the evening, do it all inclusive, so free drinks, free food, and just kind of have that next level event, just kind of like again, just that all inclusive top tier kind of VIP experience almost.
Oh yeah, positive vibes coming from the networking. You've also got, I can tell you got the personality that, like, I love networking in general, just because like I like people. I don't know if you do feel like I'm just kind of like I like being around a lot of people. I like connecting the dots too. So my personality, I feel like I do well with my marketing in that type of environment. Do you feel the same? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. And even the event that you guys just started are you keeping it at Steel Hands? Is that where you guys
Steel
do?
Hands, yes sir.
Even that, awesome, man. You know what I mean? Like I showed up to the one I was able to attend, and great crowd there.
Thank you.
Great energy, you know, and
I may have borrowed an idea from somebody. I'm just
hey, listen, man, I'm all for it.
This guy's killing it. This is awesome. I got to do something like it.
I'm all for it, and I'm all about sharing the love too, you know, and that's something
Yeah.
I want everybody to understand as well. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my business partner with this, David Rees over at Elite Lawn and Landscape. You know,
Yeah, awesome.
I actually, when I was talking about the being at WECO for the Not First Fridays, I connected with him, and he got an office in the Expansive building, which add to another thing I do. I do the event rentals for Expansive as well, where we host that event. And he's like, I want to kind of introduce myself to everybody with an event. I said, well, I want to throw this event called Professionals on the Patio. I need food. Can you help me out? And then from there, it just grew to getting sponsors involved, because it's expensive to feed 200 people. You know what I mean? And some of the food that we've had, you know, we've had like ahi tuna from Backstreets, brisket sliders, you know, bison burgers. You know, it's not like you're not just getting, you know, like chips and sandwiches. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing you can tell just is the amount of like quality and just like the effort. You can tell this thing is well put together when you attend.
Yeah, and we've been blessed, you know, because it's dangerous, you know, with free food and free alcohol. You know,
Risky.
you never know, right? Yeah. And we've been so blessed that the quality of people that we have there are so high that in the one or two instances I can think of someone that maybe popped up that really probably wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
They felt it as soon as they walked in the door. Everybody else felt it, and you know they weren't there very long. Not that anybody's running anybody off, but when you walk in, you feel the vibe, you feel the energy. You know, like, yeah, people are drinking, having a good time. There's music, live music, all that, but everybody's talking business. Everybody's connecting, and that's what I like. It's not just a party.
This is Wright Brennan, the owner of Sea Right Roofing. When it comes to the maintenance of your roof, you want to know that you have an experienced team that knows what they're doing. And with 10 years in the business, we check all the boxes. Leaky roof, storm damage, or just overdue on maintenance, give us a call at 803-828-4181 for a free estimate. Again, that's 803-828-4181. And remember, our commitment is to roof it the right way.
Yeah, no, the professional vibe. I mean, and that's kind of what helps foster like good business too. Like, you know, when you have that high quality, you know, now when you're there, you're going to be in front of high quality people who are, you know, keeping their act together, so that, you know, so you can pass business. That is fantastic. All right. The beard stuff. Tell me about that, because I've just learned that you also sell beard products.
Yeah, so Brewski Brothers Beard Company. So I said I used to have a craft beer blog, me and my brother-in-law, called the Brewski Brothers, where we just did beer reviews. We collabed with local breweries and hosted events, things of that nature. And COVID kind of took its toll on that. And just frankly, I was like, well, I need to kind of do something to make some money. I've been making my own beard products for myself for like 6 years, because I got tired of buying poor quality products. They're grainy, they smell like crap, they're ingredients I don't want on my face, you know. So I was like, I've been making this for years, let me go ahead and brand it and go heavy with it. So I leaned into the Brewski Brothers brand already, kind of did that. And then our bread and butter is partnering with local barbershops.
Yeah.
So, you know, I always make the joke that, you know, people have infidelity in their marriages before they do with their barbers sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's sick, but it's funny and kind of true. Yeah. And so what I do is I partner with them, because we laser engrave our logos onto the packaging, right? So it's very unique packaging. And then what we'll do is we'll put your barbershop's logo up top, front and center. So that way people that are loyal to your brand and you yourself have something proud that you can be proud of to sell. And then also you don't have to worry about shipping costs if you're local and huge minimum orders and stuff like that. So that's kind of how that is formulated.
You don't miss a marketing opportunity, I can tell that.
Yeah, I try to take and a lot of people's like, your logo looks like your face. I'm like, exactly. So that way when you see me, you know what's going on. And but yeah, and that's it. You know, it's and even with that, I think there's like a reoccurring theme of collaboration. You know, I'm always wanting to work with people and everybody kind of grow together. You know, not to backtrack to the Professionals on the Patio thing, but we have a fall ball coming up next month, right? September 7th. It's a huge red carpet gala event, black tie kind of deal. It's a celebration of the monthly event success, but also we're raising money for Game Changers, which is they basically if you're a kid that can that applies for like. You can get free lunch at school, stuff like that. Low income, you can go to their camps, and they have different sponsorships and programs that they do for children. So that's a big angle of the fall ball is raising money for that. Yeah. We're going to give 2 scholarships to 2 different students as well, a couple grand each or something for them to use for books, whatever it is they might need. And then, of course, just frankly, we've been doing this free event for months. It's time for me to sell some tickets, because I've been putting a ton of work into this and it's all been for the greater good. But time is valuable. So I was like, let me throw a ticketed event and hopefully everybody that loved the free events every month, cause my thoughts is like, man, if this is the free stuff, I wonder what the paid stuff's going to be like,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I saw Alicia
Porter. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's our title sponsor. She's our title sponsor, man. She's amazing. Love her to death. We also have a few other sponsors involved. Lamar is one of our sponsors. They're helping with some billboards and things of that nature. We've got Blackwell Videography. We've got Lifetime Insurance. We've got a few folks lined up. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. That's going to be exciting, man. Cool. All right, so tell me a little bit about this. Like, when you're in the entrepreneurial sphere, you face a lot of different challenges. I mean, like, you obviously hearing your background, I mean, it's like, okay, this guy knows how to deal with adversity. But on the day-to-day,
right?
How do you kind of get through the risk-taking and the
Man, it's a balancing act. It's a lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's a lot of
you got to make stuff happen,
and it's a lot of blind faith and just doing it. It's when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you need to think about your decisions, but sometimes haste makes waste. You know what I mean? Like especially when it comes to inspiration. And I think we can all relate to having, whether you want to kind of call it a divine inspiration, but when you feel something, and you need to act on those things.
Yeah.
And there's some impulsiveness in it. Yeah. I think we're all a little impulsive that are entrepreneurs. We kind of have to be this crazy to just go out there and not punch a clock.
Yeah.
But really what I've been leaning on is working on my planning and my discipline.
Yeah.
Calendars. All right, I live by my calendar to my detriment sometimes because I say, and you've seen me post on Facebook, or you maybe you haven't, where I'm like, I'm meeting with somebody at 12 tomorrow. Who is it? Because I'll put it in my calendar, and sometimes I'll fail to put notes, But point being is like,
I have wanted to do that so many times, and like I just didn't have like. I was like, I need to post on Facebook because I got this appointment. I don't know who it's for.
It's bad. I'm like, and every time I do it, I'm just like cringing. But I'm like, hey, luckily it hasn't been any trouble. For me yet.
But it will get you to the person that you're supposed to be.
And frankly, that embarrassment, it's like I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, there you go.
Make sure that I write good notes. But really, it's balancing that, man. Having faith and just having support, man. Support is the biggest thing because if you have people around you that, it's natural for folks to doubt, especially when you're doing things that are very, out of the ordinary in an entrepreneurial space. But having people that support you. My fiance, she's been great with that. Just, like I mentioned, it's almost like a blind faith, but it's an unwavering faith. I use the analogy all the time, and you've probably heard it before. I think I've heard it mixed in with faith, but basically it's, the road's ahead of you at night, but you only see as far as your headlights, right? You just got to have faith that that path is there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm doing 100%. Everything I can to lay that path. So hopefully we, because we're getting married in November, hopefully that we have a good journey, together. Yeah.
And I'm sure it will be an amazing one. I mean, you're definitely, paving a strong path. In your, I will say your Facebook stories, man, you do a great job of editing yours. I'm like, man, I wish I could do that and show everybody what I'm doing, but I don't have the skill set here.
Yeah, man. So that's part of my ADHD kind of stuff and being all over the place. So with the Brewski Brothers stuff, I did all the video editing and stuff with that, recording and all that. So I've always kind of had a creative edge, and you touched on like me being a musician, so I've done music, so I've always been pretty creative. So I enjoy doing that stuff. It takes, as anybody that does videos it takes forever to edit. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's frustrating, You
Curtis over here.
Yeah, literally a 30-second video can take you 3.5 hours to edit without a problem. And but it's fun. I enjoy it, and then it saves me money because there's people that do it. It's expensive, So I enjoy it, and then it's a marketing opportunity. Yep. I do those day in the life videos. Yep. I hate that because I forget to record stuff all the time, and I'm like, man, I didn't record half my day. But people, some people's like, why do you do those, or whatever. I don't really do it for myself. It's just advertising. And then especially if I'm able, like today, if I remember to take a clip here, I can throw in the logo. Like when I went to your networking event, I shouted you out. You know what I mean? It gives me opportunity to shout people out too,
No, and I really appreciate you coming and you were like, hey man, you need to come and pass out, flyers at my event. That is collaboration at like the highest form.
100%, man. And I don't believe in much competition anyways, right? Competition at the bottom, collaboration at the top type deal.
Yeah.
But when it comes to networking, there should never be any sense of competition, whether it's between networking groups, organizations, people, or anything like that, because we're all just trying to connect. Why wouldn't we all be friends anyways? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I always encourage folks that run and organize other networking events, bring flyers to mine. If I have 200 people at mine, why not tell those 200 to go to yours? You know what I mean? I don't have a monopoly on it. You know what I mean? They're still going to come to my party if they enjoy it, and they're still going to go to yours if they enjoy it. And I hope they do.
Yeah. It's an awesome mindset. All right, advice. What would you give somebody who's interested in getting into the entrepreneur space?
I think my biggest advice, just because I look back at myself. I was talking to somebody yesterday. If I talked to myself 10 years ago, it was about the music stuff because I used to, I was really heavy into making music. Is don't wait too long to take action, right? Sometimes we get frozen trying to decide or frozen with, like I'll use the music as the analogy. Like I never shot a music video for one of these songs because I didn't know which one I wanted to do it, or maybe, and I just drug my feet, and 10 years later, I never did it. Of course, my life went a different path anyways, but if I went to myself 10 years ago and said, dude, you know what? You never even shot a video for either of these songs. I'd be like, dang, you know what I mean? So like, don't be frozen. I think there's a phrase for it that's leaving me, but basically just don't be like a deer in headlights. Just take those steps. Just like the headlights on the road. You only see those few steps ahead of you, but just do it.
No, I can relate to that a lot. In one way I put it is like analysis paralysis. Like if you got to make a decision.
That's it. Analysis. You're the man. Analysis paralysis is what I was looking for.
It's such good advice to people who want to do, like there's so many unknowns. Like you don't know what's going to shake out. So spending too much time trying to figure out how it could shake out, you spend years on like small decisions
and miss opportunities.
But
100%. Yeah, that definitely is that. And then pay attention to your intuition. We all have it, and I'm in a mastermind right now, like a John Maxwell mastermind, and you just gotta. And it's been teaching me a lot about just identifying your strengths, and we all have intuition in different ways, right? Some people are intuitive in business, marketing, relationships, whatever. But you just got to follow that. And don't get so, and I think you could probably relate to this as an entrepreneur, don't get so busy with the end game that you miss the yellow, green, and red flags on the way. Yeah. There's been situations where I've been with folks and like you might get a red flag or a yellow flag. And you're like, oh, it's fine, it'll work out. And then later on it kind of bits you in the butt. Or because you're so busy with the end game, it all works out. Or a green flag. I've had those where I've made great connections and I kind of like got so busy worried about what I was going after.
It was a major opportunity.
That I totally lost that, or missed it. And it's like, man, I was so busy trying to get there that I didn't slow down and pay attention to what I was doing.
100%. Fantastic. All right, so how do we get in touch with you?
So Facebook, Jonathan Gamboa. Luckily, it's a pretty unique name, and I have a pretty unique face, I guess. So luckily, that's the easiest way. So professionals on the patio right now, that's my biggest focus. Of course, security sales, that pays my bills. But professionals on the patio. So we're always looking for people to come out. Obviously, I'm not sure when this will be released, but we have the fall ball coming up, and then we have the monthly events first Thursday of every month.
Yeah.
So we do sponsorship partnerships with local businesses. Again, it's just to keep the food on the food out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I don't ever want to abandon the free food, free drinks aspect of it because it's just unique. It's just unique, and also it's just frankly, I think it's a great opportunity for our partners. A lot of our sponsor partners are young entrepreneurs like myself, and I think it's great because we're kind of setting a tone, because when you see billboards and events, it's always the same big names, So it's kind of cool to have some of us young guys kind of working together.
Yeah, that is really awesome. You're able to bring everyone together like that. Okay, well, man, it's been awesome learning. I mean, maybe next time we'll have you bring in your you play the bass, right?
Yeah, so I play a little bass. So I did hip hop, rapping for a few years back when I was in college, and then I've had a bass for a couple years. Don't play it much, but I always say it's kind of like Guitar Hero. Like you can look up tabs and like if you can just figure it out, like you can play a song.
You
if it's
say
not
that
too hard.
being humble. You're a man of many talents, and we're fired up that you decided to come hang out with us.
I'm
today.
honored to be here, man. I love the show. I love what you got going on, and any opportunity I get to sit down with like-minded folks is great.
Fantastic. Hey, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, man.
Hey everyone, many thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a follow and click the bell to stay up to date on future episodes, or click the link to watch another previous episode. Also, don't forget to like, share, and please leave us a comment. We'd love to hear your feedback.